So the mountain meditation offers us a powerful image from the natural world, and nature actually is a great mindfulness teacher. Maybe it's one of the best mindfulness teachers that there could be, in that by watching nature, by feeling nature, by noticing how we are a part of nature, we perhaps learn something about our place in the world, and as importantly, how we can synergize with the world that we live in. And a lot of our stress and suffering, I would suggest, comes from resisting the way that things are, and the way that things are exemplified by all of the different aspects of nature. So some of you will know that one of my great and unexpected pleasures of the last few years has become gardening, and that I have an allotment near where we live. And until a few years ago, I'd never done any gardening at all, and wouldn't have considered myself to be a gardener, which of course is just an idea. I've learnt mostly through experience of just watching what happens when seeds are planted, and plants are watered, and soil is tended, and so on. And I've learned a lot about the flow of the seasons, quite a lot about patience, the life cycle of birth through flowering, through dying and regeneration, this kind of ongoing seasonal weather that we are a part of, and which gardens are also, and plants are also a part of. So much of our, or at least some of our distress that comes up is often because we abstract ourselves from nature and our own nature, as well as the sort of wider nature. We easily move into the conceptual mode of thinking, which actually only commentates on the world as it is, or at least the physical world as it is. Of course, it is thinking also as a part of the world, but it can take us up away from the earthness or the earthiness of our being. And from this comes a lot of problems. The kind of tendency over the last couple of 100 years, especially, to kind of come up with the plan that we can somehow dominate the world, more than it dominates us. And maybe we're learning a valuable lesson about this at the moment. And we lose the recognition that we are subject to its rhythms and its laws. And we can influence the world, of course. We're not completely powerless, but that power is limited, and actually becomes maximized when we are in flow with the bigger power that actually, is the earth turning, and all of the mysterious forces of the universe that we know so little about. So recognizing our smallness in the face of the bigness of the world is a humbling yet very powerful lesson. And the mountain meditation is an invitation to connect with also the bigness of our being in nature. So the mountain, is an image which brings up the sense of solidity and majesty and bigness, magnificence. And so whilst we're small, when we actually align ourselves with nature, there's actually great power in that. So by connecting with the image of the mountain, we are unleashing, maybe is the wrong word, but we are unfurling our largeness, when we are in touch with the world, when we're actually in tune. We're a part of something very big. We're a small part of something very big, but that being part of it is no small thing. Sorry if I sound like I'm talking in riddles, but hopefully pointing towards something. So by coming back to our bodies, by tapping in with the connection with the earth, our bodies sitting here like a mountain, and envisaging ourselves mountain-like, we are perhaps realigning ourselves with this quality of being natural, of being a part of the natural world. And the mountain, of course, just sits in its world. It's changing, albeit sometimes imperceptibly. It's both solid and porous, so it's both steady and can be penetrated by water and seeds and grass and shined on and snowed on. So it's affected by the world, and yet it stays mountain-like in the midst of this being affected as the weathers change and as the seasons changed. So if we can perhaps practice being like this, of being steady and solid and real in the midst of the sometimes unpredictable weather of our lives and the environment, inner and outer, then maybe this can help us come into tune with nature and not be so at loggerheads with the way things are. In the Buddhist tradition, there's the two very helpful words which describe this, and one word is dukkha, which basically translates as stress. And this has the quality in the original language of being a badly fitting wheel. So if you imagine a badly fitting wheel, and what's that like to be in the car? And then sukha, which is its converse, meaning a well-fitting wheel. So it's like we meet our world like, with a jagged edge often. And so by actually allowing ourselves to round those edges through practice, and this is where mindfulness practice can support us in this, it's like we're kind of smoothing over those edges so that we can actually meet the world in a flow that isn't so jagged and rough. And we do this with all of our practices. The mountain meditation is an invitation to really rest as nothing needing to change, nothing needing to be striven for, just accepting and being who we are in the present moment. And that's enough. And of course, it takes some work to somehow embody this. So, how about we practice a mountain meditation together?